Where the residents are battling a dual weather crisis. Wildfires along with heat waves. As we speak, firefighters are battling the largest wildfire in California. The Oak Fire broke out last week, and thousands of people have been evacuated since. Meanwhile, another wildfire is raging in Mariposa County called Cal, which has already engulfed more than 17,000 acres of land, and only 16% has so far been contained. The Cal fire has destroyed 55 residential, commercial and other structures.
We have low humidity, so not a lot of moisture in the air, high temperatures, as well as that is compounded by years of drought, so less precipitation overall. We also have a high tree mortality in Mariposa County, so a lot of dead standing trees, a lot of dead trees that are on the ground. That, coupled with the topography of the area, which is steep in a lot of places, is leading to extreme fire behavior.
The wildfires aren't as big as last year's Dixie Fire, which burned nearly 1 million acres, but the ongoing fires are a reminder of how their intensity is rapidly rising. Low rainfall, drought and a heat wave seems to be a perfect cocktail for these wildfires. Let's move across now to other parts of the country where the heat wave has left the mercury rising. The National Weather Service has said that heat advisories have been issued in southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley. The Pacific Northwest usually remains cool, but even there, temperatures are set to surpass 37 degrees Celsius. In the Columbia River and Basin, daily record highs will likely be broken. Local governments are finding ways to keep their residents cool. Cities have opened cooling stations. Water stations are being set up to keep the residents hydrated. In fact, reports suggest that Los Angeles, California and Arizona are covering parts of roads in coating designed to cool down the pavements. Residents are installing more and more air conditioners, something that has been a foreign concept to some regions. Authorities are also increasing outreach to at-risk communities, especially the elderly, along with the homeless and poorer households. And for more on this, we are now being joined by our correspondent, Susan Tehrani. Susan, thanks so much for joining us. My first question, let's talk about the wildfires. What is the damage that's been caused so far, and how far are the containment efforts proceeding?
The largest fire really in 2020 right now, the one that's in Yosemite, as you mentioned. CAL FIRE is saying that it's expected to see full containment by Saturday, which is somewhat of a miracle, if you may, considering the fact that less than 24 hours ago, a statement like this seemed to have been impossible. Firefighters working really around the clock. The impact of the fire could be felt hundreds of miles away, notably because of the smoke that was pushed northward along the Sierra Nevada on the one hand, really resulting in unhealthy air reading. Air quality advisory was also in effect for a lot of the Bay Area, for San Francisco and beyond. And then you also mentioned, you know, that area that's been burning along the lower part of the region as well, which is closer to Sonoma County, a very dry area with no humidity as well. There is 5 acres also, by the way, burning more again towards Sonoma County, a little north of San Francisco. It's a very dry area. It's Wine County, and a lot of fires broke out last year. The Dixie fires really started over there, and firefighters are really monitoring that as well.
Right. Let's talk about the heat wave now, Susan. As we saw in Europe, there was a crippling heat wave, and now parts of the United States are also recording record temperatures of late. People are installing air conditioners, a foreign concept up until now. If this isn't a wake-up call on climate change, then what is?
Yeah, absolutely. Year after year, we're seeing this really exacerbate, not only in Europe, as you mentioned, but here in the United States as well. And something very foreign that's happening here in the United States. We're hearing reports that we may even have blackouts and you know, electricity blackouts. And while they have been sporadic throughout the years, recently, you know, that's not something that we've been hearing warnings about. That's for the first time. 2022 is something that we'll be possibly witnessing widespread, notably across the Midwest. for the most part, the heat wave that we saw last week has really diminished, notably here in the East Coast. We had a rain yesterday, and now, the weather is a lot cooler, which really, again, brings home the message that how unpredictable the weather system has become. Yesterday, I was in a tank top. Today, I'm in a sweater. But yes, the fact that, we're really grappling with conditions and situations to have to adopt with in the 21st century. For example, power outages is something that we didn't think we'd be here right now.
Right, Susan, thanks so much for all those inputs, and thanks for joining us on WION World is One. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.